Today we are looking at the top most influential movies of 1985. Movies that made an impact which can still be felt today. And with that, let's get to the countdown.
Number 1.
Steven Spielberg presents Back to the Future, a Robert Zemeckis film.
Number 1 was pretty easy, and Back to the Future received by far the most points by any movie from 1985.
Get out of town.
It even scored high with younger age groups. Usually movies from the 80s start seeing a decline as our research group gets younger. However, Back to the Future held its own as the younger generations immediately recognized this movie.
But you kids are gonna love it.
Back to the Future was a huge success in 1985 and is considered one of the top best time-traveling movies of all time. With a super easy to follow time-traveling explanation,
but I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity I need.
Along with a little more complicated and very awkwardish love story, Back to the Future was an extremely entertaining movie. Its sequels, Back to the Future Part 2, which came out in 1989, and Back to the Future Part 3, which came out in 1990, were both highly anticipated and both did extremely well in the box office. For the few of you who don't know, Eric Stoltz was originally cast as Marty McFly and actually started filming many of the now famous scenes. This was recently referenced in the 2023 Flash movie, where in a parallel universe, Eric Stoltz, and not Michael J. Fox, played Marty McFly.
Okay, yeah, no, I know, I've seen all of them, and Eric Stoltz is not Marty McFly. I completely broke the universe. Marty McFly is Eric Stoltz.
Yes.
Thank you.
The Flash movie had its own issues.
This is a disaster.
But I can see where they were trying to go with that, and I'll give them credit for it. We all know the Flash movie needs all the help it can get. Back to the Future was everywhere in the late 80s. There was even a KK ride at both Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Studios Florida. However, they closed it in 2007 to make room for the Simpsons ride.
Damn.
This movie's influence can also be seen in several other movies and TV shows.
They call it time travel. Sorry, Doc, I need your DeLorean.
I'm never going to exist.
Wait, no. Look, I knew it. Look, I'm Back to the Futuring. Totally called it. What's Back to the Futuring? It's a classic movie older kids get to watch.
Not if we strictly follow the rules of time travel. That means no talking to our past selves, no betting on sporting events.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Scott. Are you seriously telling me that your plan to save the universe is based on Back to the Future?
And your former present becomes the past, which can't now be changed by your new future.
Exactly. So Back to the Future's a bunch of...
Kurt, it's Marvin. Your cousin, Marvin Cobain. You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
I think it's pretty safe to say Back to the Future was the most influential movie of 1985.
Heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Back to the Future.
Number 2.
Wait a minute! No!
Steven Spielberg presents The Goonies.
The Goonies movie comes in as the second most influential movie of 1985. This movie screams 1980s and is one of the most recognizable movies from this decade. Goonies capitalized on the success of Indiana Jones, which was still new at the time and massively popular. However, instead of Harrison Ford, we got a group of kids from the Goondocks, searching for lost treasure and surviving wacky booby traps. All the kids were very likable, with Chunk by far being the most memorable of them all.
You guys will never believe me. There's 2 cop cars, okay? And they're chasing this 4-wheel deal with this real neat ORV. And there are bullets flying all over the place. It's the most amazing thing I ever saw.
And let's not forget older brother Bran, who would later play Thanos.
I am inevitable.
The Goonies influenced a flood of 80s kids, who are now showing this movie to their kids. However, just keep in mind, back then, a PG-rated movie was way different and they used to let a lot go. Either way, this is a good movie, and without a massive all-star cast or the help of several sequels, it is pretty impressive how much of an impact this movie is still making and comes in as the second most influential movie of 1985.
The Goonies. A Richard Donner film.
Number 3.
7:06. You have exactly 8 hours and 54 minutes to ponder the error of your ways.
The Breakfast Club just barely collected enough points to come in as the third most influential movie of 1985. Another very 1980s movie, centered around a handful of high school kids forced to be in detention. This movie starred Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall, and although we were desperately hoping for a Marvel's Endgame tie-in with The Breakfast Club, just to keep the random 1985 connection we had going, there were none. However, lucky for us, Anthony Michael Hall came out with 2 movies this year and starred in Weird Science, which also included Robert Downey Jr. in one of his first big movie roles. And of course, as we all know, he would later play Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Yay, we did it! Now going back to The Breakfast Club, this was considered a cool rebel movie that showed the struggles of different American teenagers at that time. This movie also gave us the iconic ending with Judd Nelson throwing his fist up into the air. 1980s teenagers were all like, yeah, that's how I feel, down with trying to control us, and so forth. This scene was most recently brought up in the 2012 Pitch Perfect movie, where Jesse was totally trying to use it to score with Becca.
Okay. Breakfast Club, 1985. Greatest ending to any movie ever. Perfectly sums up the movie. It's equally beautiful and sad.
Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
Wow, that's pretty weak. Please don't fall for lame-o lines like this. However, all jokes aside, The Breakfast Club was good enough to leave an impact in our pop culture and comes in as the third most influential movie of 1985.
The Breakfast Club.
And there you go, another shortlist year. Honorable mentions are going out to The Color Purple, Witness, and Cocoon. We're also giving a shout out to Teen Wolf. Michael J. Fox's agent had him totally overbooked in 1985, making him work on this movie, Back to the Future, and Family Ties all at the same time.
Great Scott!
Oh, this is heavy.
As always, take a quick second to like and subscribe as we continue to rank the most influential 80s movies. And don't forget to watch our next video for the most influential movies of the year 1986.